Philadelphia's record-setting offensive performance versus the Vikings was exactly what the doctor ordered, as Jalen completed a perfect game, while Smitty and AJ dominated Isaiah Rodgers, while Saquon and the offensive line are still searching for answers. Plus, the secondary's impressive day versus Justin Jefferson, Bird's defensive line finally showed up, and the latest on the most shocking Eagle news I've heard all year, BG is coming back. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. Philadelphia's Sunday win over the Minnesota Vikings was now the 7th straight heart-racing roller coaster ride of the entire season. And while yes, the defense continues to look less than ideal, along with the horrific offensive line play yet again, one thing was different on Sunday that made all the difference. Philadelphia unleashed Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith for a record-setting performance that not only might have saved the Birds' season, but now this week is going to be looked at as the game that triggered a very unexpected return of an Eagles legend. And so to celebrate, Jalen Hurts absolutely carving up one of the best defenses in the NFL. The giveaway today is another Jordan Spector art breed of one piece. I absolutely love this thing. We're going to give it away to one person who drops a like, is of course subscribed, and why don't you comment down below your biggest takeaway from Sunday's win. Also, the Game Changers last touchdown A.J. Brown score predictor winner was Fade 2i2i KK2, so Fade, go down below, email me, and go ahead and claim. Now, we can't talk about anything in the Vikings game without first mentioning the most shocking news of literally the entire season so far, as just hours before kickoff on Sunday, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport tweeted, quote, Brandon Graham is mulling coming out of retirement. The veteran edge could return for a 16th season, which was quickly echoed by every single Eagles beat writer, including John Clark, who tweeted this, quote, sources confirm that Brandon Graham is in play for a possible comeback. I'm told he has been working out every day over the last month to get in shape. I think it's happening. There's interest with the Eagles, and BG is returning to help the team. There's been a lot of talk for weeks. And by the time you watch this, BG might officially been signed. It might take a couple more days. We don't know. But I also went ahead and sent a text to somebody in the know. Not that I have a lot of sources, but I did have one for this one. And it all but confirmed Brandon Graham is going to sign with the Philadelphia Eagles, and it should be today or sometime later on this week. Oh, and if you need a little more confirmation, just listen to Jalyx Hunt try and hide the news post-game when he was asked about BG coming back. This basically confirms it.
Brandon Graham? Shout out BG. Shout out BG.
What would that be?
Man, you know, I have not appreciate the heads up.
I guess.
Yeah, nah. Anything in the room is added, you know. He's got years of experience. What is it, 16 years now? 15, whatever the case may be. A lot of years of experience, so we're just going to use him as a well. And excited to have him back. That's the guy.
Now, let's actually be honest about this. Excitement aside, because, I mean, come on, BG is literally one of the greats of all time. There really are two ways to look at the 37-year-old, once retired edge rusher putting his cleats back on almost halfway through the 2025 season. Option A is kind of like, why? Like, why is he doing this now? BG just went out on top of the football world in a way that few legends, especially Eagle ones, ever get to do. Plus, as mentioned, he's 37 and fresh off a pretty bad tricep injury that he retore, we forget this, in the Super Bowl win. And that was honestly my first thought, like totally fair. Why is BG coming back right now? He's 37 years old. Can he actually help the Eagles defensive line? I know Zadarius Smith just retired, but is he the answer? And again, we'll get to that. I think it's a fair argument, but if he is in shape and he is back to his 2024 form, I'm not going to deny this is not a bad move at all. Like, again, depends on what shape he's in, but we forget that right before he tore his triceps back in the November 24th injury game versus the Rams, he did have 3.5 sacks, led the team on a short season, and was looking like the 5-year younger version of himself. If Philadelphia can get back that version of BG, the pre-injury version, and he stays healthy, other key factor, this is an absolute no-brainer. Although I would argue, even if Brandon Graham is not, pre-injury version 2024, he looks 5 years younger, or he's not in shape, it still is kind of a smart move because this is a very young defensive line. They are struggling right now, and they need leadership. They just lost Zadarius Smith, who was the over 30 veteran presence. And so even if BG comes back, plays okay, stays healthy, but actually gets these guys in shape in the actual room, then this is a win-win no matter what happens. Still, I will say this. If BG, and I'm with you guys here, I see you in the comments, is the only edge rusher move that Howie makes the next couple of weeks, that will be a mistake because this team clearly needs a legit edge on the outside. And honestly, I think it's going to happen because Bradley Chubb is now on the 1-6 horrific Dolphins, like he is going to be traded. Plus, Jermaine Johnson is now on the 0-7 garbage Jets. That move is also extremely likely. BG plus one of those two would be quite the midseason get for Howie, Vic, and the entire defensive line unit. Also, NBA Tip-Off is finally here, and my sponsor, Underdog, has got you guys covered. New to Underdog, use promo code Mott to get $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5 entry, win or lose. And to kick off the NBA season, there's a site-wide KD gimme pick you don't want to miss, plus daily promos all month long. And playing with Underdog is super simple. Just pick higher or lower on 2 or more player stats, and you're in the game with a shot to win up to $5,000 extra money. And I've already locked in my picks for this week. Give me Chet Holmgren higher than 7.5 rebounds. I'm going to go with Kevin Durant higher than 25.5 points. I think he has a pretty good opening night. And then Lakers-Warriors, give me Jimmy Butler higher than 19.5 points. Oh, and Underdog right now is live in over 30-plus states, including Missouri, Georgia, and Texas. Don't forget, that's promo code Mott. Jump into Underdog, play today, and have fun this NBA season. Now, moving on to the actual win on Sunday, and we can't go far without mentioning Jalen Hurts' MVP caliber performance versus the then #1 pass defense in the entire NFL. Hurts finishes 19 for 23 for 326 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, and a perfect 158.3 passer rating. Which, by the way, keep an eye out the next couple of days for all the critics of Jalen Hurts to be completely silent. There were people saying Tanner McKee should start over him. Everyone was saying that this is, an impossible offense because Hurts can't throw. He just proved them all wrong on a day where he had basically 0 rushing yards. It was all through the air without Saquon Barkley. That was prime Jalen Hurts. That's the Jalen Hurts that every Eagle defender like myself knows, loves, and wants to see going forward. I mean, he was basically perfect on Sunday, like statistically and literally. Perfect pocket awareness, the accuracy, most of all the deep ball shots. That is exactly what we've been wanting this offense to do, cut loose from the stagnant dink and dunk mess the first 6 weeks. I mean, this passing chart right here, is this not the best Jalen Hurts passing chart we've seen since, February of this year in the Super Bowl all those months ago? He was poised, he was focused, and his teammates said they saw it from the start on Sunday.
I thought tonight he did a hell of a job making the check, getting us in the right protection, and slinging that thing.
He was great, man. Seeing the looks, trusting us to be in our spots and things like that. And, him getting us to the right checks and things.
What's it like playing with him when he is in command like that, like you felt today?
It's fun, man. It's fun. Good, when you can tell, when he really sees it and he gets this look that, he sees and he's like, oh yeah, this the one right here. So it's fun, man. It's fun. We're all on the same page. The sky's the limit. We just have to continue to do that.
Perhaps more importantly, though, for the entire offense was just a lot more consistency. Not perfect, as we'll see, but they only really had 1 bad quarter instead of the usual 2. And Jalen Hurts said post-game they'll still be critical of their performance, that even though they won, they want to go ahead and improve from.
It was a collective, and I think we still ironing things out. We still are going to be critical of ourselves, but it's good to be critical when we're winning and finding a way to win. And so that's always the #1 goal. Great effort by everyone today.
Of course, though, like Hurts said right there, just because he had a good day and the passing game seemed to open wide up does not mean that Kevin Patullo is now absolved from all his previous sins. They still had plenty of problems on offense. I think Kevin Patullo is still the main problem right now, along with the offensive line, but it was technically a little bit better. For example, come on, yet another horrific rushing day from a team who said post-game their goal was to first establish the run. As Barkley, once again, did not go over even 50 yards. It's crazy that he keeps doing this on Sunday, mainly due to poor blocking up front, because honestly, I thought they actually ran some more creative running schemes. They went to the outside, but again, no luck because they could not block for 2-6.
We weren't perfect today in the run game. Left a lot of yardage out there for us up front in the run game. So, not happy with it, but man, I think as in terms for opening the passing game, I think that helped a lot. They were getting into that 6-1 front a lot in the game. It almost thought we were in 4-minute the whole game because that was their 4-minute front or their tight red zone defense. So it was a good match today, as in terms of good on good. So
got to give credit to those guys over there. I got to do a better job of not taking negative runs. I keep saying that. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's something I got to do. I own it. But at the end of the day, most importantly, we won the football game.
Is Philadelphia just a bad running team? Is that what's going to be the entire rest of the season? Because this is crazy that they have not broken one or not figured it out through 7 weeks. I know Cam Jurgens went down. That's a problem. Brett Toth came in. He wasn't great. But it's not just Brett Toth or Cam Jurgens. Landon Dickerson is struggling. Tyler Steen is struggling. I think Lane's the only one playing well. Mailata's struggling in run blocking. Never thought I'd say that. I do think for all the trade for an edge, trade for a cornerback talk, Howie might need to go ahead and make a move for an interior offensive lineman because They can't block for Saquon Barkley. He is getting no running lanes, and that is the biggest problem now on offense. If they could establish the run, they're going to roll people because the passing attack, it's really just there. Still, though, we have to give Kevin Patullo a little bit of grace here because the passing game, we've been asking for it, was improved. But don't forget that 2 of those deep touchdowns were actually not called from Kevin Patullo, as AJ's first one was a scramble drill. That's all Jalen Hurts and Brown. And the Eagles admitted the deep shot to Smitty was only called because Smitty was begging for that play the entire first half on the sideline.
And like I said, right now, I think, we're taking steps forward. We have to continue to get better. There's things that we still are not connected on and things like that. But it's a step forward. That's all you can ask for is always, take a step forward.
The thing was to come in and establish the run. That's what we wanted to come in and do. And the game just flowed the way it did. And we were able to be efficient in the past game. KP was very timely, and I think we were able to doctor up some things on the sideline and work through some things. But those guys made big-time plays. Smitty had a hell of a day. Tough. Size ain't nothing to him, the way he plays. So it's good to see.
So was Kevin Patullo much improved on Sunday? I think the answer is yes. We saw the Jalen Hurts passing chart, throws across the middle, didn't call those at all the first couple of weeks. But we have to at least admit that it's not perfect, and they still have plenty to go ahead and work on. But if they can keep going like this and trending in the right direction, are they going to be the number 1 offense in the NFL? I don't think so under Kevin Patullo. Can they win games and still be dominant? The answer is definitely yes. Which, speaking of dominance, by the way, Devonta Smith, oh my gosh, he is so elite, and we always forget just because he is the number 2 in this system, but a career high 9 for 183. Well, A.J. Brown still got his and went over 121, again, against the number 1 pass defense in the entire NFL. This Brian Flores zone shell cover scheme, my gosh, he absolutely dominated. And Isaiah Rodgers, we love him, true, but man, he was in a blender all day long. 5 catches on Zay for 151 yards to A.J. and Smitty. Zay, we love you, but no one should ever doubt these 2 receivers ever again in the entire NFL. Just like how Kevin Patullo should never be allowed to make Smitty's route tree look anything different than what you see on your screen right here. Again, Kevin Patullo, much better, much improved. This is way better in terms of route tree for Devonta Smith than anything we've seen the first 6 weeks. But in the end, the offense did score a ton of points. And so put the offense aside now, move to the defense because it was hot and cold. It was great and then bad. I don't know what to make of the Eagles defense because they've really struggled the past 3 weeks. Now, still, good things first. Like, shout out to Jalyx finally stepping up, not only getting the impressive pick 6, great hands here, but registering 5 pressures, 3 quarterback hurries, and 2 hits. If he can just keep this trend going, it's going to be a massive boost to the Eagles' defensive line if and when BG and another edge rusher come in.
It was so cool to see Jalyx make that play given the opportunity he had last week. And us to talk about that as a team, coach to coach it, detail it out and put him in positions in practice to make that play, and then he makes that play. And so there's no coincidence in that. And so I give a lot of credit to Coach Sirianni in that. Coach Sirianni did a hell of a job preparing us in that way, and give a lot of credit to Jalyx and the rest of my teammates of just showing up when the opportunities presented themselves.
Likewise, I saw some flashes of vintage Jalen Carter. It was scarce, but we did see it at times on Sunday, and we're going to need a lot more of that going forward. And then, can't forget, how about Nakobe Dean being the 5th highest graded Eagle on the field for 45% of defensive snaps and looking great. I mean, obviously, he was fantastic. Provides Vic Fangio with a brand new toy on this defense going forward.
Finally. I've been wanting to get out there for a couple weeks and I've been feeling great. So just get out there with the guys, to be out there and tackle somebody and hit people. It felt great. It felt great. And like I said, I'm blessed. I thank God that I'm even able to be back out there and doing the thing that I love.
Likewise, Quinyon Mitchell lined up against Justin Jefferson 20 times on Sunday, allowed just 1 catch for 10 yards. He, as usual, was balling. And that goes for Adoree Jackson, too. Like pre-concussion, Adoree Jackson was playing very, very well. The Eagles' passing game issues, though, were once Adoree went out, and of course, Keely Ringo came in, which, rinse, repeat. We understand what that is right there. And also, Drew Makuba, I think, struggled a little bit, had a great pick, missed tackle. I get it, though. I do think the secondary is much improved and looking better, and with a new edge rusher, they can really start to kind of come into their own. Would I add a cornerback at the deadline? Maybe for the right price, but if Adoree's healthy, I think he's okay. The problem is he's not been healthy, and Keely Ringo's had to come in, and so maybe you do need a new corner. But, as I mentioned before that rant, the defense was not all sunshine and rainbows as missed tackles, my goodness, they keep rearing their ugly head. And the run defense, before the Vikings got behind and had to throw, was really starting to struggle. I mean, Carson Wentz, as bad as he was early, was really an Eagles 3 and out away from bringing them all the way back in the fourth quarter with a chance to win it. This defense, like the offense going forward, has got to improve. There's no denying that, but there is flashes of kind of what we were expecting going into this season. And this win on Sunday really felt like the Browns game back in Week 6 last year. They lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's terrible. The sky's falling. They have a bye week. They come back and they, struggle against the Browns, but pull out in the end. That then springboarded them to go on a massive run, and it was next against a team like the Giants that Philadelphia is about to play this coming week. I totally get today if you want to be negative because Carson Wentz almost came back and the running game is terrible and Keely Ringo's no good and the pass rusher, pressure's not really there. But in the end, though, a win is a win, and we did see improvements, especially on offense. Like, we have to at least acknowledge that they looked much better than they did the past 2 weeks, that they at least promised to be better throwing the football and were throwing the football much better. Does that mean KP is saved? I don't know. But in the same day where the rest of the NFC East minus Dallas lost, Philadelphia is now 5-2. If they can just take care of business on Sunday, beat the Giants, go to the bye week at 6-2, we're going to feel a whole lot better. And the guys internally know this, understand this, and appreciate because a win is a win.
Identity is important. Don't get me wrong. That is very important to have an identity and be able to establish an identity. But for a long time now, we found ways to win games. We found ways to win games in a ton of different ways. And then I think when you say we found ways to lose games, we've lost games kind of in the same way. So being critical of ourselves and knowing that the identity is important, but as this thing goes along, it's about winning.
It was only a matter of time, but it's still things that we can grow in certain areas. Still some things that we left out there that we didn't get a chance to capitalize on. So just continue to take it week by week, continue to grow.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we gave up 2 million points even with that, but still, being able to hold him, it was definitely big in the game.
Now, of course, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. BG, it's going to happen. Maybe that time you've seen this, but it is coming this week. Mark my words, that is going to go ahead and be official probably today. And I do think they make another move. I'm hoping they make another move because they need another edge rusher. There's plenty out there on bad teams, as we talked about. So subscribe, stay tuned, we'll see. And plenty more giveaways are happening this week. We got some great new Jordan Spector stuff and others coming here in the next couple of days. It's early here recording this. Hope you guys appreciate how much I'm trying to get this stuff out for you guys. But I'm pumped. The Eagles won. They're 5-2. Let's keep the trend going and beat the Giants this week. Thomas Mott. This has been Thomas Mott Show.